very good evening to you. Thanks for joining us on the Friday edition of the show. I'm Yemi Adeba. Well, tonight on the show, we'll talk about things happening here on the domestic scene. We'll talk about Nigeria Premier Football League. We talk about, of course, the Nigeria National League. Interesting matches in all the divisions. We'll talk about it even as we go on. We'll look at what is happening in the English Premier League. It's a two-horse race. We look at what's going to happen this weekend. We'll also do our best to listen to what the managers are saying in the English Premier League as we prepare for, of course, tomorrow, the North London Derby gets us talking this weekend. We'll also look at what Burnley is up to, what Chelsea is up to after the hammering from Arsenal. So that's the outlook of the show. Very interesting things to talk about. My colleague Austin Okon-Akpan, of course, will be joining in any moment from now. Is getting ready. It's a two-man show, as you already know, and of course, once it's ready, we go in full flow. But we'd like to, of course, start today with the Nigeria Premier Football League. We'd like to interest you with what is happening this week, and that's Matchday 32. Something interesting is going to happen after Matchday 32. We'll get into that, but let's see if we can quickly bring to you, put it right there on your screen. Matchday 32 games in the Nigeria Premier Football League. We'll start with Remo Stars. What they've been able to do, they've been able to consolidate, win an outstanding game, and on the strength of that, they have climbed into the second position. Hopefully, we get to see that in a bit. Remo Stars doing the job on their opponent. And there you have it, right there on your screen. Today's result, of course, 3-0 Remo Stars over Niger Tornado. Sikiru Alimi got two of those goals, and of course, another person, Ahmed Akiyele, got one of the goals. And so, on the strength of that, Remo Stars have moved into the second position on the log. After 31 matches played, they've pushed the Aba Elephants into the third position. All right, Austin is ready now. Greetings to you, Austin. It's time to take this trip across the money spinning world of sports.
For the greetings to you, Yemi, and everyone joining us on the show tonight. Still an action-packed world of sports. Yes, in England, we're getting ready for the North London Derby. What a story when Tottenham will host Arsenal at White Hart Lane. And to tell you that Arsenal needs to prove a point, they need to do something in that North London Derby. But let's get right into what you're talking about, the Nigeria Premier Football League, which is as competitive as any big league in the world. We said it on this show last night that Remo Stars, for them to really get us talking, they must show character. They must start winning again. And I think they did just that today, Yemi.
All right, they did just that. On the strength of that win, of course, they pushed up. And, of course, you already know he's in the news. After the matches that will be played tomorrow, the league is going on a 4-week break to allow Rivers United play all their outstanding matches. But before we begin to talk about the 4-week break, let's look at what's going to happen over the weekend. Matchday 32. And just like Austin said, it's very unpredictable, very fiercely competitive in the Nigeria Premier Football League. Let's look at the screen and talk about what's going to happen. We'll start with tomorrow, obviously. Saturday fixtures. You look at Doma United up against Kwara United, Bedell Insurance up against Heartland. These two matches, Matchday 32, will be played tomorrow, that's Saturday. But let's look at Sunday and talk about what's going to happen on Sunday. There you go. Gobe United up against Lobi Stars. You have Aqua United will take on Kano Pillars. Bayelsa United take on Rivers United. Rangers International will take on Plateau United. These are some of the matches to be played on Sunday. We have a few more on Sunday as well. There you go. The Aba Elephants and Imba up against Casino United. Shooting Stars up against Sunshine Stars. And, of course, Sporting Lagos up against Abia Warriors. Interesting matches. Also, let me just quickly get your thoughts on what you see here. I mean, as we approach the last few matches, we're going to see a lot of change in the table, especially if those on the top are either playing at home and away. I mean, it becomes very crucial at this point.
Very, very crucial. I mean, particularly when they now go on that 4-week break. I really don't like it somehow because it's going to affect some teams. There's just something about when you build momentum, you just want to keep it going. Some teams will now go back and they will return with less fire that they have built, in subsequent matches. So I don't know how that will look like to some clubs. But yes, we know Rivers United need to complete their games and then everybody come to parity and the league continues. I'd like to see what Rangers can do against Plateau United. I think it was from Matchday 20 till about Matchday 28. Plateau United really got us talking, showed some consistency. We're up there in the top 4 for some time, and then they started dropping, particularly when you're going away from home in the NPFL and you're not winning matches. So Rangers, with today's win that Remo Stars had over Niger Tornadoes, comfortable 3-0 win, pressure is on the Flying Antelopes to prove some points if they want to, stay relevant in this league title chase. And Plateau United also, with everything that they've done, they can still say to themselves, teams that haven't done so well have come to the new Just Stadium and they got points. Aqua United did it, and I think Shooting Stars also did it. So they will say to themselves, why can't we go away from home now? These are crucial times for the league and pick points also. That's why I picked that game as an important one to look out for on Matchday 32. I'd also like to see what Aqua United can do against Kano Pillars. Look, for Aqua United to remain in this league, they must show workings. When you win your home game on Matchday 32, you need to win your next away game and win again. That's the only way the promise keepers can keep the promise that they've made to their fans that they want to remain in the league. But it's pressure, it's tough on them, but they need to show working. Aimba will take on Katsina United. Easy peasy, game you might say for Aimba, particularly with the way we saw Rivers United, see off Plateau United, Katsina United in their last game. I saw that goal and the combination between Andy Okpe and, of course, the Rivers United team trying to see how they can, gain some prominence. Won that one big time by 2 goals to nothing. Nazi Einaya got a late goal for the Pride of Rivers to keep them going. Katsina United, before that game, they were flexing muscles in the top 7. So this game against Aimba is very tricky, particularly that it is match day 32. So let's see what they can do. That combination goal, you also remember the combination was between Andy Okpe and Deputy Echeta. They're beginning to form some good partnership right there for Rivers United. So I must be careful. Southwest Derby, Shooting Stars taking on Sunshine Stars. 2 decent teams already this season. They don't concede much. When we're not talking about them, they do something to get us talking about them also. Can the Oluyole Warriors pick another win? I liked it when they were winning. The vibe in the team was good. People got talking about them again. There's just something about the traditional teams. Rangers, Bendel Insurance, Shooting Stars. You can put Aimba in the mix too. And Rivers United trying to get in there too. When they win, it lights up the league somehow. So I would like to see what Shooting Stars can do against Sunshine Stars,
All right, interesting. All right, joining us on the show tonight is the chief football writer of ACL Sport, Fisayo Dairo. He's been waiting for a while. Fisayo, good evening to you. Thanks for finding out time to be with us on the show.
Yeah, very good evening to you. Good evening to you, Yemi. Good evening, Austin. Nice to join you at last.
All right, let me just, dive straight into it. Austin was talking about Rivers United, the outstanding fixtures. He would have loved that we didn't go on that break, but it is a problem that has to be handled. Outstanding matches to be played. But let me start from there. Rivers United, a game in hand is nothing until you win it, but there's a potential for them. If they win these matches, it could take them very far.
Yeah, of course. But 4 of those remaining 5 games are away from home. And you know that, I like your first point, a game in hand is not point in hand. And more so when it's an away game in hand, it becomes more difficult for you to claim the points in hand. The first of the 6 games was played yesterday, like you already ruled out, against Katsina United. So it's easier for you to make the calculations when it's at home. But Look at the quality of games they are playing away from home. They start with Remo Stars. Remo are aiming for the title. They go ahead to play Kwara United. They are running away from the dreaded zone. Then Sunshine Stars, relegation is hunting them down. None of these games are easy at all for Rivers United. But I saw their last 2 games here in Port Harcourt, yesterday against Katsina and on Sunday against Rangers. And of course, they are a very formidable team. They still remain one of the best teams in the league in terms of playing personnel, experience, and everything. But any away game in the league is an away game. Even if you are playing against the basement side, I think apart from Gombe United, any other team will give you problems away from home. So for Rivers United, I wish them best of luck, but they know that they really have a mountain to climb because they need at least 6 points on the road to really be in that top 3. And to be in the top 2, they need to win all the matches. You know how tall such another is.
All right. I mean, before you to us, let me just do this. I'll go across now, and we'll talk about those matches. And I agree with you. They're playing some very tough matches away. And I'm going to ask you the ones you think are winnable. We'll forget about the one they're playing at home, but the ones they're playing away. They're playing some solid sides away. And so, Fisaya, just let's look at this together. They're up against Remo Stars on May the 5th, Kwara United, all of these games away, Sunshine Stars as well. And also, they'll be up against Abia Warriors at some point, although they will be playing Niger Tornadoes at home. I'm not particularly worried about the one they're playing Niger Tornadoes at home. But you look at all of these matches, how many points do you think? At least I'm looking at 4 away matches, tough ones. How many points do you think they can pick from those tough matches? I mean, actually listening to you and saying, look, away matches are very tough. It doesn't even matter if you're playing against relegation-threatened teams. So of those 12 points, how many of it do you think, they can get to help their cause?
I think they won't lose in Umaya against Abia Warriors. I think they won't lose in Akure against Sunshine Stars. It's difficult for me to call away wins, but I can predict that a team will not lose, depending on how strong that team is. I think in those 2 centers, Rivers United will get a minimum of 2 points. Against Remo Stars, I don't know how they're going to shuffle between their FA Cup, it's FA Cup, the President's Federation Cup game on Thursday and playing in the Kenya on Sunday. I think that trip might affect them, so they might as well forfeit the 3 points. Ordinarily, I would have said they will give Remo Stars a tough time. So out of those games, I know they will get 2 points at least from Akure and Umaya, but I can't really vouch for Ilorin. Ilorin is a difficult place to go, antics, the pitch not in the best shape and all. So I think those 2 points is the most realistic for them to get.
Wow. All right, let me yield to Austin.
Yeah, I'm not supposed to disagree with you, Desire, but I'm sorry. I think it's going to be very difficult for them in Akure. If you take a look at where Sunshine Stars are on the league table, I think they are 16th on the log. And Sunshine Stars, they've shown us that they know how to stay up when they are in a very difficult situation. And then they would have been well rested. So these teams would have gotten 4 weeks of rest and just waiting for Rivers United to come. So I wish them all the best. But let's leave Rivers United. I know you follow the team so well because you are in Port Harcourt. Let's talk about the Matchday 32 fixtures. And what do you expect from Rangers?
Yeah, Rangers play against Plateau United in what I think looks like the peak of the encounters at the weekend. But I personally think that Rangers will win that game on a counter. Why? You were saying something about momentum, and it's very true in the NPFL. A lot of our clubs, they lose team very easily. There was a time where Rangers were gathering their own storm. Plateau too seemed to be high up there. But all of a sudden, they just crumbled. And like you mentioned, Aqua United went to just to get points. Shooting Stars went to just to get a point. It's not done. And yes, they've managed to recover here and there. But on Sunday, I still expect them to lose against Rangers. Rangers lost their last game here in Port Harcourt against Rivers United, and they want to win the league. Forget what Fidelis Lechuku tells you, and it's when he says no, with their strategic team, they are building a team. Once you are top of the table on match day 30, you want to win it, and I think Rangers will have much more firepower that Plateau will handle. Yes, it's going to be a homecoming of some sort for Mboas Mangot, the coach of Plateau United. He was assistant to Salisu Yusuf to Rangers in his very last official appointment before taking the Plateau job. But I think it will be a sorrowful homecoming for Mboas Mangot.
Yeah, let's talk about Eimba Katsina United. Katsina United, I call them the silent achievers this season. Maybe because a lot of people don't follow the Changi boys. They don't actually see that they are not doing badly, and they've got some relevance on the league table. I think they're in the top 10. And I'm sure you watched that game against Rivers United, but for the attacking prowess of the Pride of Rivers, Katsina United showed some quality against Eimba. You think they can get us talking in any way?
Yeah, of course, but it's going to be a difficult game for them in the sense that the game on Sunday will be the first time Eimba will be playing with fans after serving their 3-match ban without playing games behind closed doors. But I like that point you made about Katsina United. Yeah. They are so much underrated. I saw their last game. In fact, their last 2 away games now officially. I saw them against Bayelsa United, the penultimate Sunday in Yenagua. No, Tuesday. I beg your pardon. The last week Tuesday in Yenagua, and then this yesterday. They are a very deceptive side. And under Bashir Sadauki, the incumbent coach, they know how to handle teams away from home. They were compact yesterday. They struck passes together. That first goal came like 1 minute before halftime for Rivers United. So they are capable of causing upsets there. That's why they are up there. They are in the top 7 on the table, because a lot of people take them for granted because they've been an unsettled team. This season they've used 3 coaches. So sometimes you want to believe they are unserious, but if you take them for granted, they can punish you. And so that game on Sunday will definitely be one that Eimba have to be wary of, because the good thing for them is that they have their fans back. Perhaps they'll be able to intimidate the Katsina fans, the Katsina players.
Yeah, I totally agree. Before I give it back to Yemi, Lobby Stars, they've shown us some level of consistency, and telling us that they can also compete for the league title. But the Pantami Stadium is where teams go to now and just pick points and even win. Can they do the same?
I think they will. Talking about momentum, Lobby Stars are also a team that have lost that momentum of recent. Yes, they defeated Eimba in their penultimate home game, but nobody saw that goalless draw coming against Medal Insurance, and Insurance could have won if Sunday Anyanwu had not missed that spot kick. But like you rightly mentioned, Gombe United, that's the kind of place that Lobby Stars will get to go to get a point, Gombe. How much more when they have a team willing to donate points, not literally anyway. So I expect Lobby Stars to get some points in there, because they know that is the most realistic away game for them to get points as we head into the running.
All right, very interesting. I think from there we can move on to take a step down and talk about the Nigeria National League. I'm going to go across in a bit to quickly reel out the fixtures. Then, of course, Visayas with us will get his thoughts in and around those matches. A lot of matches to be played in that lower division. So I'll just go across now and look at it. Matches to be played on Saturday, matches to be played on Sunday in the Nigeria National League. All right, Conference A is what they call it now. Matchday 20, right there on your screen. On Saturday, Smart City FC will play Rovers. I mean, you're spoiled for choices, and like they said, this is the most important league in Nigeria, because of course from here they get into the top flight, and if you get it right here, you get it right across. LFC up against Dakar on Sunday. Matchday 20 Conference A. Coal City up against Beyond Limit. You have Abia Comet against Madiba Football Club, Stormers Football Club up against Ekiti United. All right, so let's move on. We go to the next conference. You have Conference B, Matchday 20, Inter Lagos up against Giant Brilliants, Trade Safe Football Club up against Ijebu United, Warri Wolves up against Oshu United, Gateway FC and Crown FC with Trade Tackles, FC Rocket and Ikorodu FC will slug it out in Conference B on Matchday 20. Then we'll go to C, where you have lesser clubs, but of course still very interesting. Conference C, Matchday 20, ABS, Abubakar Bukola Saraki Football Club up against NAF FC, the Air Force team. You have Zamfara United up against Nasarawa United, Mighty Jets up against Yobe Desert Stars. Then you have EFCC. Trust me, no arrests on that day. We'll be up against Wiki Taurus. These are the matches to be played across. We need to go on a break right about now. When we return from that break, Visaya is still with us. We'll be talking about any of these matches that he wants to talk about and some of the things happening in and around Nigerian football. We'll go for that break. We'll return for more on Sports Tonight. All right, welcome back. Like I said, Fisayo is still with us. Let me come to you, Fisayo. I mean, I'm not saying this just because you're on tonight. You're one of the guys who follow football on the domestic scene religiously. And so when you say things, a lot of people listen. So your impression about the Nigeria National League this season, not past seasons, but this season, how matches have been played, how things have been organized after Matchday 20. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's been a very competitive league, I must say, because I think more than ever, the exploits, let me say, without detaching anything from them, of Sporting Lagos last season has made the privately owned clubs to believe more that they can actually achieve promotion to the elite division. And I tell you, with the number of teams in the NNL and the games you have to play, teams want to live there. They want to come to the NPFL. So I think that has shaped the league in some positive ways this season. You know, teams like Madiba, Ikorodu City, Edel in Anambra, you know, they are all trying to bring out the best results they can for themselves. So that's why it is very, very competitive this time, even compared to previous times, especially in the Savannah region, the Atlantic region, that's Southeast and Southwest. The government clubs are not holding sway. Perhaps, you know, the likes of Oshu United have surprised someone like me, you know, because for a state with less resources to manage football clubs, Oshu United have always entered into relegation zone and come back, but this season they've stabilized within the upper side of the table. But I'm much more impressed and interested at the exploit of the privately owned clubs like Madiba FC and Ikorodu City FC of Lagos, who have really, really put themselves firmly in the conversation of getting promoted to the NPFL.
All right, interesting thoughts. And before I let Austin take it, how many of the privately owned teams do you think can make it to the top flight after the conclusion of this season? Well,
I think if we have one, we'll be fine, honestly, because I think from the north, they have to be two government clubs, because there are a lot of NPFL landlords already wallowing in NNL at the moment, and they want to return. Likes of Nasarawa United, FKNB Warriors, Wiki Taurus, you know, Jigawa Golden Stars, Yobe Desert Stars, they are all doing their best. So I think two of those government clubs will return. But in the southern region, I think if we have either of Madiba or Ikorodu City in the NPFL, I think it will be fantastic for us. Aside that, any other government club that really wants it much can also join the bet. Maybe we can have up to two, but realistically for me, if you get one, it will be fine. Let's get at least one every season, and perhaps hope that those that promote get stabilized into the NPFL, and then we can gradually change the narrative as it regards Nigeria's top flight league.
Fisayo, let's talk about officiating and to an extent the media, what we need to do to give more attention to the NNL, because the NNL is the equivalent of what we call the championship here in England. And I tell you, I've gone to see championship matches, and it's almost like the English Premier League. That's why Kelechi Iheanacho, Wilfred Ndidi, you see, they are not bothered because they get the same level of viewership, the same attention. I think officiating in the NNL this season has been laughable. Yes, we've seen some away wins. I think last match day, Nassau United, I think defeated Mighty Jets away 2-1. I saw Giant Brilliance also winning away. But is it because these officials know that it's not getting the sort of attention? Because I saw Ikorodu FC versus Inter Lagos, and it's just tears. What is the problem? Why can't we get the NNL to that standard where people will look at it and believe that it has the quality to improve the NPFL?
Thank you very much for your question. I think my answer might surprise people that the first thing we need is funding. We need enough capital to be able to pay these referees what they are due so that we can ask questions for them. A lot of these referees, I'm not making excuses for them, but how much are they being paid? So it's easy for them to be induced. It's easy for them, and again, aside the funding, we also talk about the security. But most importantly, we see that when the NPFL, although I must chip in that even officiating the NPFL this season has not been good as well. For me, this is the worst season in terms of officiating in the last 5 years in the NPFL. So how much more the lower league? That is still the NPFL that you see press releases every now and then, referees punished here and there. But how about the NNL, whereby a referee can manufacture a penalty from the center circle? But I think we need funding. The league body needs funding. I can't blame them, even because you need capital to run football, especially the league. So when these referees are paid enough, and then they are made to know, because if I say security, there are no security anywhere in Nigerian football. Because if we say, okay, you can have 70 policemen in the stadium, and if anybody wants to harass the referee, all of them will just be watching. So once you fund them to a degree whereby you can ask quality from them, then instant discipline. When you bring those discipline, and then hopefully, but that's why I said something earlier on. I did not want to hop on it. I said this private club want to leave the NNL and come to the NPFL where there is a bit of sanity. But it is what it is. The clubs are too many, and there is a lot of desperation. That's the aim of desperation. Those government clubs especially, they want to promote because they are far richer. They have the money to do all manner of inanities, which the private clubs may not be able to afford. And even like you said, the game between Ikorodu City and Inter Lagos, we know that mega bucks are coming into the league now. So everybody is desperate. They want to leave. But if there is adequate funding to give the referees enough funding that we have, and look at the championship we talked about. Sometimes referees are even demoted from the Premier League to go to the Champions League for 1 week or thereabout. They are well sorted. But if we're able to do that, maybe we will start having, because it's always been the same commentary for NNL in the last 5 or 7 years or thereabouts.
Yeah, I know. Maybe the officials of the Nigerian National League should also consider reducing the number of teams and, ensure that there's proper financial obligations in place for clubs to be, to be operated professionally. I think that's all. Let's come to the English Premier League before I get into the conversation. I'm sure you want to, add one or two things or go to the screen.
Yeah, I'm going to the screen. I mean, the things we started saying on the show today, probably said it 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and it's so sad, but sometimes you hope the administrators are listening. We shouldn't be sounding like a broken record. And you could understand, that's why a lot of people want this privately owned club. And as a line Visaya used, I mean, I was just shaking my head when he said it. Those privately owned clubs are striving to get into the top flight, where there's a bit of sanity. Not that everything is well, but a bit of sanity in the top flight. But it's really sad. But I'm hoping there's a lot of hope.
We've seen NNL match that was turned into handball in front of a ref.
Volleyball.
As in proper volleyball plus handball. I didn't understand the sports. I was like, this can't be football, you know.
At all.
And this. Okay, let's go to the Premier League.
Let's just go to the Premier League and maintain our sanity tonight. I'll go across the screen and talk about matches to be played tomorrow. We are getting to the business end in the Champions. Did I say Champions League? English Premier League. And there you have it. West Ham up against Liverpool. Fulham against Crystal Palace. Manchester United up against Burnley. Newcastle will take on Sheffield United. All right, let's look at what's going to happen in the other fixtures. Still talking about Saturday. Wolverhampton Wanderers up against Luton Town. Relegation threat in Luton Town. Everton will be up against Brentford. Aston Villa will be up against Chelsea. We'll be listening to Pochettino in a bit. Some other matches: Bournemouth against Brighton, North London derby, Tottenham and Arsenal. Then you have Nottingham Forest up against Manchester City. All right. So these are the fixtures. And Austin, you're there in the center where everything is happening. Although I'd love to get Fisayo's thoughts as well. But let me just come to you quickly. Burnley is in the news. Vincent Kompany is talking. Yeah. Manchester United manager coming to press conferences ready, hammed to the teeth for anybody that's going to ask him any question. And he's always daggers out. I mean, saying the criticism is unfair. I don't know what planet Erik ten Hag lives on. You're a Manchester United manager. You have to live with this. And the performances haven't really been up to scratch.
Yes, Yemi, but I said it the last time on the show, and I'll say it again. Like, what else do we expect from Erik ten Hag? What other way can he defend his team? He can't come out openly and say, oh, Højlund, you've been a terrible striker. Oh, Rashford, when you play, you don't give us what we need. I just talk down his players, you know, because if you check, they still have the possibility of finishing, I think, in the top 6 or top 7 and still play in Europe. They still have a chance of winning the FA Cup, you know. So he has to try it's just PR. He has to make his team look good in the media because he knows the sort of questions that will be thrown at him, particularly because of how shambolic Manchester United seems to have been. And I said it the other day on the show. I listened to Erik ten Hag say, yes, we struggled against Coventry, but we won. What would you guys have done? What would you guys do to us if we had lost that penalty shootout? They won. Yes, they thought it was disgraceful, but it's the upset cup. We are in the final where they'll play Manchester City, and this is football where anything can happen. Same thing we said about him last season. Somehow he got a trophy into the cabinet. Now he's got a tricky Burnley. But this is the Premier League, and this is Burnley that they don't want it that I like. They've kept faith with Vincent Kompany because they're like, okay, we're going down. Let's stay with the manager that brought us to the league and not try to turn things around. So it's tricky for Manchester United, but I think they can do just enough to win that one so that when Erik ten Hag gets into that press conference, he can smile and take some questions. Let's get some talking points ahead of that game between Burnley and Manchester United.
Look, it's a meaningful game. It's been a meaningful game for many years in my life. But it's really about Burnley and Burnley facing United on the day. And it's for this club that I really want to be successful there on Saturday. I get it. Like, for me, just the fact that you've been there so many times, obviously as a manager, you do keep that experience that you had as a player. But it's not the case for my players, so I have to somehow transfer something into them so that they feel like this is a game that they belong to play in and that they have a chance to win as well.
All right, Vincent Kompany, not bothered about what's happening with United. All right, let's see if if we can listen to Erik ten Hag on the flip side, the Manchester United manager.
I have a lot of sympathy for Messi, of course, and so last year he had a brilliant season. I think the best season in his career. He scored 30 goals, so there you see where he's capable of. And this season he didn't give the performances, and then people are very critical, and I think we have to back him, and everyone should back him. And push him to get back to the levels he was last year. We all know where he's capable of, so we all have to support, but also to push him. And because he can do better than he's doing this year, and we have saw last year where he was really brilliant.
All right, welcome back. I want to go to Fisaya quickly. Manchester United, Burnley. What are your expectations? I want you to make it quick because of our time. Start with a cover ground. There's still a lot to talk about. What are you expecting? And do you think the criticism, just like Erik ten Hag has said in some other press conferences, that look, you journalists, you fans, you've been too harsh. So what do you make of that?
Well, to be honest, I don't even know what to expect from United against Burnley. You know, at a point, they were drawing 2-2 with Sheffield before they eventually got 2 more goals. You know, they pretty had the kind of season that Chelsea have also had, you know, stuttering here and there. So Burnley, they always stick to their philosophy, play the kind of football they enjoy, even if they're going to lose. But I still think United should win, regardless of how their last week has shaped up. But talking about being fair or unfair, it's unfair. United are a big club. And, you know, I was watching Rivers against Rangers when I had United slumped from a 3-0 goal advantage to 3-0. You know, it's not hard. So you don't, if he's coming out to lambast the press, what about the fans? Yeah, is he going to ask the fans not to talk? No, they have every right to berate the kind of performances that United have put up this season.
Maybe before you get into the next conversation, Fisaya, look at Ten Hag's character. Let's give him a character in the NPFL. He was a coach in the NPFL. Who would it be? Coach Monday Odige of Bendel Insurance or Fidelity Lechuku? Which one will Ten Hag be? I know. I thought we should put that out there because I like Monday Odige and the way he defends his team all day, every day in the media. Yeah.
All right. So let's move on now because we're pressed for time. Let's just go to the North London derby, and you know maybe that's what we're going to be able to do. Arsenal against Tottenham. Tottenham playing at home. Tottenham with their eyes on the UEFA Champions League, and of course Arsenal. I mean, a lot of people have called them Butlers FC. They need to prove a point just to keep things going in this one. So we don't know where the pendulum will swing. Before we listen to both managers, Fisaya, quickly, if you can, what do you think will happen in this game?
Well, I think Tottenham will not lose, which is bad news for Arsenal fans. I think Chelsea flattered Arsenal in midweek, and it has gone into their heads, which I expected. So that kind of derby game, I'm backing Tottenham not to lose and put a dent in Arsenal's title aspirations.
Wow. Okay, let me listen to the man who is there, who is probably hearing the voice on the street. Also, your thoughts, and I'm very sure you're going to make us listen to Postecoglou and Arteta.
Yeah, you know, I mean, if there's any North London derby that I've witnessed in the last 3 years I've been in the UK, this one is the one that is so quiet because it's such a delicate fixture to both sides. And if you look at the stats, the Gunners have dominated recent times. It's the Gunners that have dominated the North London, you know, derby. And now that they need to stay relevant in the title chase, they cannot afford to sleep. And Tottenham also, they've been pretty decent this season, and they are also chasing a place in the UEFA Champions League. But this is football where anything can happen. And the fans are saying if there's any time for the Gunners to show that they can push this title chase all the way to the end of the season, they need to beat Tottenham tomorrow. So, in a way, it's pressure on Mikel Arteta and his team. They like where they are at the moment. They like the way they are playing. But against Tottenham, you never say never. Let's listen to the coaches.
Look, every time you're out there is a chance to measure yourself, for sure. I mean, I've got a fair idea of where we're at and, sort of what progress we've made, what progress we need to make. But it's just another great challenge for us. As you said, there's 3 big games and then we finish the season with 3 games. So, and they're all games of, consequence for us, for the opposition. So I think the players are looking forward to that as well. This time of the year, usually you want to be playing for something, and certainly the games we'll be involved in will have something in them. So, looking forward to it. Yeah, I mean, it's fair enough. Again, I'm not going to dictate how fans feel or what they feel is important. We understand the importance of the game, and we understand the importance of, particularly at home in these kind of games, to not let our biggest rival or in the biggest derby for us get on top of us. So we understand the consequences of that, but ultimately it's still about us trying to measure ourselves against the teams we want to be challenging on a more consistent basis, and it's a great opportunity to do that on Sunday.
To play.
Now we are there. That we have to look at ourselves and try to perform the best possible way, win our matches, and wait to see what happens. And that's what we discuss. Sounds a bit repetitive, but it's what we have to do. I don't think so. I think this league is tremendously demanding, and it can be still a lot of turns, and we all know how difficult it is to win games in this league. Yeah, obviously we are fully focused on this one because there's still a lot of at stake, and we really want to get the job done, and we know as well that obviously it's a very young team with a really bright future, and still a lot of room for improvement, and we will try to keep developing it. Well, for sure we're going to be fully ready, so we have a bit of time as well to recover and to prepare from the Chelsea game, and I'm sure the team is going to be fully ready to go again on Sunday.
That's it, beaming with confidence, Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta. That's what you should feel like, Fisayo, particularly after the pounding they gave to Chelsea. I think momentum is on the Gunners, to win on Sunday.
Yeah, they have the momentum, and of course the fact that they're out of Europe means they can channel all their energies on the title assault belt. But you agree with me that derby games, pay no attention to form or whatever you are doing at the moment. And like rightly said, for Tottenham, they are also trying to build something. They started the season with a lot of promise under Ange Postecoglou, and yes, Arsenal are the favourites. If this were to be at the Emirates Stadium, I would have said 100% Tottenham have no chance. But at that new Tottenham Stadium, I think they will want to give their fans something to cheer about. Arsenal remain the favourites, but Tottenham still have some players who are quite experienced in the London derbies and will be willing to give their fans something to take from that particular day.
I totally agree with you. So we'll wait to see who wants it more. On paper, it's Arsenal. They need to win to show that they can push the title fight to the end of the season. Tottenham also need to win to stay relevant in the top 4 chase. So this is a very important game. But the Gunners have 20 wins more in all competitions between the pairs. So the bookmakers, everybody favor Arsenal to win on Sunday. But this is the North London derby. And I'm sure, there's no way you can talk about this one without your voice shaking.
Obviously, but I'll echo the words of Martin Keown. He said, look, it's hard to predict what's going to happen, but it looks like the only ambition that Tottenham has, since they're not winning any trophies, the only ambition they have is to always stop the Gunners. That's the only ambition they have, and that's why I'm a bit scared that Arsenal might lose. They would rather lose to any other team than to lose to Arsenal. So we'll see what happens in that game. They have their eyes on the UEFA Champions League as well, so maybe that might be some motivation for them. And just like Fisayo said, as we wrap things up, I hope they are not carried away with the 5-0 victory over Chelsea. If it gets into their head, it's going to be unfortunate.
It's going to be unfortunate. I totally agree with you. Thank you, Fisayo, for joining us on the show tonight. Let's leave it to the fans. Last Premier League game for Tottenham, 4-0 loss to Newcastle. Last Premier League game for Arsenal, 5-0 pounding of Chelsea. Where will the victory go on Sunday? I don't know, but I'll come back next week to talk about it. That's the show. In London, I'm Austin Okonakpan. In everything you do, remember, let's keep talking sports. Bye for now.
All right, that's the show today. I want to thank Fisayo Dyer for his time with us on the show. We'll do this again next week. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.